Hello, friends, and welcome to the April reading wrap up. I find it hard to believe that we are already in May and we're already doing April's reading wrap up, but time just keeps it moving. We have little Humphrey here today. He's keeping us company, so he'll be here. As usual, get your water, stay hydrated, and get a little beverage if you're so inclined. Today we have a lavender. I thought there was a ghost, but the AC just closed my door. Anyway, today we have a lavender matcha latte from Dutchie. It's very good. And yeah, get your little drinks, get a little snack, and let's talk about the books that I read in April. And I feel like I haven't really been doing a good job at describing the books, so I did my homework this time, and I made a whole script. So hopefully this will keep me on track and help me remember what exactly these books were about so I can explain them in a little more detail. So let's get a move on. And where is Humphrey going? You want out? Hang on, I have to let him out. Oh, I can show you my shirt now. Amazing got it for me for my birthday. It's little Hank with his little tribal print. Ain't he cute? I love him. Anyway, Humphrey has left the building. He decided he didn't want to be in here no more. So yeah, let's start these in order of my least favorite to my most favorite. So first on the list is Piglet by Lottie Hazel. This one was weird. I still don't know how to feel about it even days after reading it. But it's about Piglet, a cookbook editor, and the days leading up to her marriage to Kit. In the middle of the book, he confesses this like big dark secret to her. He's like laying over her in the middle of the night like, I have something to tell you. And she then has to decide if she's going to go forward with the marriage or leave him because of this. And I really was excited for this because the premise seemed pretty cool and it just seemed interesting when I saw it on Libby. But it really wasn't what I expected. And it made me mad for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't like the characters. They all seemed kind of too two-dimensional to me, just too flat. And also, we never found out what the deal was with Kit, what that secret was that he told her. And it's like, if I don't know what happened, how am I supposed to relate to this character and understand if what she did was right or not? That upset me. And based on the reviews that I've read, it upset a lot of other people too. So, and like, her whole mental spiral is based on this secret. So it's like, are you justified in it or not? I don't know. I still don't know. We'll never know. I mean, I guess you can like infer what happened, but I don't want to infer. Maybe I just want to be told what happened. And also like the food scenes, she's a big foodie, but some of like the descriptions of it like verged on body horror, and I don't know, it made me feel a little weird. So that one gets 2.5 stars from me. I had Chewy's for dinner and I got the burps now. I also ate a bad salad for lunch and I think I got E. coli. Don't eat old lettuce. Anyway, next on the list is Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. And this one follows Scarlett and Lucas, a Stanford diver and a swimmer. And Scarlett ends up confessing some like little scandalous secrets to her best friend, who is Lucas's girlfriend. Bit of a triangle there. Scarlett is into kinks, and so is Lucas. And Pen, Lucas's girlfriend, is not. And she's complaining to Scarlett about this, like, I don't know if I want to be with him anymore. He's just so cold. He's not loving. And she's like, well, you know, you can love in different ways. Maybe he's trying to, like get close to you in some way. And she's like, no, I don't know if I like him. I want to break up with him. And then, with all this in mind, Pen gets very drunk at a party and is like, oh my God, I'm breaking up with you, Lucas. But you should get with Scarlett. And that premise just, like, lit something up in my brain. Like, that's just seems like a wild plot. But I don't know, something about it just didn't work for me in the end. And the book also put me off for probably a silly reason. I was listening to it on Spotify, and with 20 minutes left of the book, Spotify kicked me off. So I had to go find a random YouTube reading of it and listen to the end. But it was like, at that point, I didn't care about the end. But you can't DNF it with like 10 pages left. So we suffered through it. And that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for the ending. But yeah, I was really excited for that premise, but I don't think I liked it. The sex scenes were almost too graphic. And there was one close to the end that like almost made me DNF it, that I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't like this. And I really liked Scarlett and Penn's friendship at first. But at the end, is that a spoiler? Something happens at the end that I just did not appreciate. Like, it seemed so out of pocket. And I just... everything fell flat towards the end. The farther we got to the end of the book, the worse it got for me. It started off as a 5. I was so into it. I was loving it. And it just, like, kept losing half a star as we went on. And ultimately ended up at 3 stars. That's it for that one. Next on the list is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the first prequel of The Hunger Games that came out a few years ago, and it follows President Snow when he was, like, before he was the president. He was just in high school. And it's pretty cool because it describes, like, how he served in the 10th annual Hunger Games. When I went into the book initially, I thought it was going to be about him being in the Hunger Games, but he was in this, like, school, and the school was doing something where they were trying to change the Hunger Games. It had been kind of boring up until this point, and they're like, let's make it funner. So they hire these high school kids to be mentors to the district tributes, and he ends up being the mentor to District 12. From there, it just kind of follows him and Lucy and them trying to beat the odds and win the Hunger Games ultimately. And I really do think that this added, like, a fun element to the trilogy, like getting to see the backstory of the Hunger Games and, like, how it was back in the day. But I was pretty bummed at the ending. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The end just upset me because I feel like it kind of ended the same as Mockingjay, where people just died fast, violent deaths for no reason, you know? And I also didn't like how Lucy Gray was just kind of tossed off to the side. She just, like, vanished and was left alone, and that was it. That was all we got. That was the end. I mean, I guess it makes sense why it ended that way, but I just didn't really like it. Still a good book, but I just didn't like the ending. 3.75 to that one. Next on the list is Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter. This is another one that I just found randomly on Libby that sounded like a good time, so I picked it up. It was really weird, though. It's about this girl named Cassie who finally escapes the hellhole of a house she grew up in with this abusive mom and this kind of, like, aloof, absent dad. She gets out of their house after she graduates and goes to work in Silicon Valley. But as you see through her perspective, Silicon Valley is not what it seems. It's just, like, such a juxtaposition between the uber rich and, like, the poor people bathing in the bay, which is kind of interesting to see, kind of interesting to read about. In the midst of all this, you kind of get to see Cassie's descent into, like, psychosis. She has this little black hole that's, like, constantly following her around, and the more distressed she gets, like, the bigger the black hole gets. And I don't really know if that was, like, an actual physical manifestation of her anxieties and her depression and stuff, or if it's just, like, a metaphor. I don't really know. The book did make me pretty sad. It sent me into a little bit of a depression, just kind of making me think of, like, late stage capitalism and rich versus poor and, like, the ever expanding wage gap, and also just corporate culture and stuff. It's just interesting to kind of read about that disparity and how Cassie kind of didn't fit into either place. And I was kind of hoping for a hero's ending and, like, seeing her triumph and, like, leave her toxic work environment and just be better. We didn't really get that ending. But I do feel like it wrapped up in the perfect way in the context of this story. So that one got a 4. It just seemed right. The last two, I kind of struggled with which one to rate higher, like which one to put next in the list and last, because they were both so good. But I think I've decided. Next on the list is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And this one, Abby Jimenez knows how to write a book. She knows how to get me. I finished it in a day. It was so good. And this is in the same universe as Part of Your World and Just for the Summer, which I read Just for the Summer in January, and I read Part of Your World sometime last year, and they were both 5-star reads. They were both so good, and this one lived up to all those standards. It follows Brianna and Jacob, who are 2 doctors at the same hospital, and they end up fake dating for reasons. And usually I hate a fake dating trope. I cannot stand reading them, but this one just was done in such a way that it like kept me foaming at the mouth. I just wanted them to be together so bad that I could ignore the fake dating. Their banter was incredible. I love that they wrote notes to each other and how that like ties together through the story. And the ending had me sobbing so hard. And it was just so painfully obvious that like they were meant to be together. So yeah, because of that, I couldn't help but like fall into the story and remove every apprehension that I had about the fake dating trope. And it was also really interesting to read about a character with social anxiety and to see it written so well. Like I've never seen it described in such a way where like that weird, awkward part of myself felt so seen. As weird as that sounds. Just like the overthinking, the second guessing, the thought that everyone hates you and you're making all the wrong choices. Like the way that she wrote that was so good. It was like she cracked my brain open and like scooped all the nasty bits out and wrote them. But yeah, this was just an incredible read and an easy 5 stars. So keep it up, Abby. Keep it up, Abby Jimenez. These are great books. Last but not least on the list is Sword Heart by Tink Kingfisher. I don't know what it was about this one, but it was just so good. It was such a good time from the beginning. From the first page, I was like, oh, this is so nice. It starts out with, I almost called her Hella. It starts out with Hala inheriting her uncle-in-law's entire estate, and it really upsets his wackadoodle family. And she really doesn't have any interest in having all this money and all this stuff and his whole estate, but she's also trying to avoid the in-laws from getting it, and they're trying to get it in some weird ways, like making her marry her cousin and stuff. So weird beginning. In the beginning, they end up locking her in her room because she's being hysterical or something, and she's like, I can't take this anymore, I'm just gonna kill myself, and then they can deal with the estate, they can deal with the money, whatever. So she finds this sword in her room and she's ready to like just fall on it, stab herself with it. But when she unsheaths it, a man pops out. A sassy man pops out. The way I described it to Mason is a girl with a sword. And while that is kind of the premise, that's how it was described to me on like TikTok and Reddit, it is so much more than that. But yeah, just a lovely story of these two gallivanting across the country and meeting all these fun characters along the way. And yeah, it was just, I loved it so much. I really was like smiling with each chunk that I read. Every time I opened it, I was like, oh, I'm in for a good time. Oh, I'm so excited to read this. It was just such a good time. The epilogue did have me wondering if like maybe this is going to be a 2-book thing. If it's not, it's totally fine. It stands alone perfectly. It would be interesting to see if there's a second bit though. But yeah, just a wonderful story regardless. And special mention to Brindle and his ox. I loved that little Knoll. Is that what he is? He was so cute of a character. But yeah, easy 5 stars to that one as well. So yeah, that's everything that I read in April. As far as plan for May, the TBR for May, I do have 2 library books that I need to get through and return. One of them is Listen to Your Sister by Nina Viel. Nina Veal. So that one I need to read. I am, what is that? Maybe 30% of the way through God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This one is very good, but it's kind of like slow, you know? But I do have to get back into this one. And the last one that I'm so excited to read in May is Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm so stoked. I am tabbing it. We only have a few in there so far. I haven't read much of it, but I'm so excited for this one, especially after reading Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. I want to see what happens in Haymitch's games. So that is the plan for May. We'll see what else I get into. I do have one other library book over there that I am hoping to read. And I did get 2 from Barnes & Noble this month that I really want to read, but we know how I am with that TBR. It will probably not be touched because other things will come up. But that's the plan. We'll see what I get into. But yeah, I hope y'all liked this. Stay hydrated. Take care. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.